You're watching From the Soapbox to the Stage, and I'm your host, Bill Corbett. It's been said that you will spend the majority of your time marketing yourself and your speaking business. My guest is a marketing expert and has some specific tips on how to make that happen. April Heavens-Woodcock is the managing partner and buzz coordinator of Touching Clients, a marketing consulting firm that specializes in online branding. She works with small to medium-sized companies to implement strategic marketing strategies to help their business grow from the inside out. April is an authorized local expert of Constant Contact who presents regularly on email marketing and social media throughout the New England area. Welcome back to the show, April.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad that you're here. Okay, so what I like to do now is, for those who are watching the show, I want to offer them tips.
Okay.
Offer them tips about what you've discovered along the way in the business of speaking. And what would you suggest to people who are like, I'm thinking about being a speaker. I'm thinking about working my way up to the stage. I'm working on the ideas of being a trainer or a presenter. What kind of tips would you like to offer? Especially if it's in marketing, because the whole thing is, you know, you can have a great idea, you can have a great stage presence, but if you're not doing any marketing, you're not going anywhere. So if you would have any marketing suggestions, since that's your expertise,
Okay, all right.
Marketing a speaking business, what would you say to somebody if somebody wanted you to be their mentor? What would you recommend?
I would first recommend that you look for opportunities within your own organizations that you might be close to. So for example, I started with the local chamber and offered some classes, some trainings, opportunities to get comfortable, get my feet wet, because what happens is within the chamber, they help you market. So they're putting your business out there, your name. So they're helping you to market. I think one of the biggest things is that you really need to take the time, and image is really important. So when you put up your website, have a professional photo, have those things that build your credibility as a speaker. So it's not just, hey, I know this topic and I want to talk about it. You have to be confident, be passionate about the topic too. I think that comes through, but really have a presence, whether it's on your social media, your website, that when people look at you, they know, oh, I want to hire this person.
You know, that's so important, because what I've found, if I'm looking for a person to work with, to hire,
Sure.
and if I go to their profile, I don't see a face.
Right.
Maybe it's me, and you can respond to this, but if they haven't taken the time to put up their headshot,
Right.
I need to see a headshot, or the worst is you see an avatar, a blank
Right.
headshot. You know what? There's just something that we're human beings. We need
Right.
to see what each other looks
Right.
like, and I think it's a standard professional thing to invest in and it doesn't even cost that much.
No, it
I mean,
doesn't.
you could get a photographer to do it for about $200. There's even places that'll do it for $50,
Right.
especially if they're looking for some publicity,
Right.
or you can barter, right? But you got to get your headshot up there. I have to wonder when I stumble on someone's profile on LinkedIn or whatever, and there's no headshot, I go,
Right.
how are they expecting to do any business? What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. The other thing too with a headshot, I think sometimes people think headshots have to be stuffy, you always have to be in a business suit, and I actually think professional headshots, you can really represent your personality well in it. You know, I think that you can dictate what your professional photo looks like, because you want people to be drawn into you because you're the one that they're going to learn from. You're the one that's going to be in their presence. So I never want my photo to be I'm standing behind a blue wall and stuffy. So that being said, with professional photos, within LinkedIn, first impressions are lasting always. And I think that you are looking to make connections and build connections, and whether or not, if you have a great image on your LinkedIn profile, on your website, and they're looking at multiple people that may be in the same expertise as you that are looking for a speaker, I guarantee that the people with the most filled out, most professional, most inviting profiles are going to get looked at before the ones that don't, especially with no image. I wouldn't even put myself out there if I couldn't put an image in my LinkedIn profile.
You know, that is so important, because, and I've got an example of that. I was looking for someone for some work, and I went out and I found her profile, and the photo, she did have a photo,
Right.
but I could tell she cut it out of a group picture.
Oh,
Somebody
no.
was next to her, and I could see the cheek of somebody else. It was one of those.
Right.
And I'm going like, that's just not professional. And what did I do? I went looking for somebody else, and I ended up contacting the second person.
Right.
And I think she lost opportunity.
Well, and I think you do, and I think that it is an opportunity. Again, first impressions are lasting. Selfies, forget about it. You know, you really need to make that impression. I used to, in my trainings, my husband used to have the bad photo behind stand in front of a wall, and I would use that as an example against other ones. Well, he's since changed it. He's learned something, but you know, it really makes a big difference when you actually start to think about it and look at it. So first impressions are lasting.
You know, my first headshot that I had taken, I paid $50 for, and it was a photographer that was set up in a mall. And I was doing some shopping, looking for a gift, and I stopped in and I go, "It's a photo studio." She goes, "Uh-huh." I said, "Do you do headshots?" She goes, "Yep. We have $50 special while it lasts." And I go, $50 for a headshot? And I said,
"Was it a $50 special?"
Yeah, it was worth the risk for $50. It was one of the best shots I had taken.
Really? That's great.
It was one of those, I think they really kind of catered to families and kids, portraits kind of thing.
Sure.
But they would do that. You could get creative about finding a way to get rid of that dark or shifty photo you have for that.
Right.
You know, I wrote my book, From the Soapbox to the Stage, and I talked about the importance of putting yourself out there as a professional, really making sure, you know, you got to play the game. You got to, and because, like you said, the first impressions are lasting impressions. So whether it's your website or your business card or your headshot, you got to do what you can to build that part of your budget so you have that money to spend, because that's like one of the biggest features, you putting yourself out there on social media, right?
I would absolutely, and I think that the other thing too is when you're putting yourself out there on social media, if you decide that you're going to use a Facebook business page, and you're going to be your brand on your Facebook business page, maybe that's always have your professional photo in your profile, and then I would encourage you to use pictures of you speaking, use real life images to tell your story, so people can say, "Hey, oh, they've spoke to this, they've done speaking engagements to this kind of group, because I think it humanizes who we are. Because sometimes when people are looking on the internet, it's too cold sometimes, and I think we're definitely in a marketplace where you need to be who you are and show that on every channel that you're at, whether you have a video, whether it's on your social media channel, but show that, celebrate it. It's really an opportunity to celebrate and show your confidence in what you're doing out there, because I think it sends a great message to your audience, and it provides huge value.
And I think you're right, because it would be so easy to find someone with a camera to come out. We've got family members who have cameras.
Right.
You can enlist someone's help at the conference or the meeting you're at. You know, they're not all going to come out great.
No.
Don't worry about that. And you may not use them all. The point is, get into the habit of enlisting someone to take pictures while you're out. Bring your camera, and you know, if you've got a product, say, "Look, I'll give you a free CD or something if you take this camera and take as many shots as you can to kill the battery."
Even if you know, and just to have social media is about having a little bit of fun and being personable. So even if you don't have that opportunity to pull somebody in, I always take a picture wherever I am, in terms of if I'm getting ready to go on stage or getting ready to go give a training, I'll take a picture from the back of the room, like, "Hey, we're going to be talking about this," and get excited. I do a check-in so people can see what I'm doing in real time, and so if you don't have that, you still can do it yourself. You can also do the infamous selfie image of your phone behind the audience, and that's the thing within social media. It can be a little bit of fun. It doesn't have to be perfect, because it makes you human. We're not perfect, so that really sends that message.
And I trip over that on a regular basis because I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to be just ask my crew. No, don't ask them.
Right.
I need everything to be just right, and I think when I go to business events, I'm afraid of taking the informal shot, going, "Oh, it's not going to be just right." And I have to remind myself, in with the good air, out with the bad, relax, and have some fun with it, like you say. We only got a minute left, but last point that you want to make, or a tip you want to make? What about email, real quick? What about email? We could spend hours talking about email, but do you have one email marketing tip?
You know, I think This is email and everything within marketing. As you're building your business and your rapport, consistency is going to be key to your success. So email is a great tool to follow up, to stay top of mind awareness, because it's permission-based email marketing. So if you go and you're trying to sell your book or a product at an event, collect email addresses. Email, I could wave a magic wand and social media could go away tomorrow. If I have 2,000 fans, guess what? I don't have 2,000 email addresses. So email addresses are really a valuable source, and people underestimate that in business, and they underestimate the value of those. That's a point of contact for your audience. So
good point, good point. Listen, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
out
having me.
and
This is
giving
great.
us a snapshot view into what you do and the tips that are going to be very helpful for our viewers.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate that. Marketing, a speaking business, is the process of communicating the value of what you do to your customers. Now, it is a critical business function for attracting customers, and if you don't take the time to learn how to do it effectively, you may never get your speaking business off the ground. Now, I hope you'll join me for future episodes of this show as I set out to tap into the knowledge of professional speakers who are willing to share their secrets for success on the stage. As Dale Carnegie once said, make the most of today. Get interested in something, shake yourself awake, and let the winds of enthusiasm sweep through you with gusto. I'm Bill Corbett, and I'll see you the next time on From the Soapbox to the Stage.